Hello there, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to look at how to create a UI for your VR app. Now, the way to achieve this is by means of using something called Canvas, which we already have in Unity. Now, we're going to look at how to make this canvas work with the Vive controller. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Project open right now, which we've been working on all this while. If you haven't seen any of the videos, feel free to go to the playlist and check out the rest of the videos in the series. I'm going to start off with giving out the concept. So what I want to do now is I want to create a menu where I would be able to choose to hide the paint bucket. For example, I want to hide the paint bucket, and let's say I want to hide this wood which is right here. I'm going to have two options, like basically a UI canvas, and then that is going to have two buttons, and each of these buttons will control to hide the bucket and the wood respectively. To begin with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on the hierarchy window and I'm going to choose UI. We need a button, right? So let me do button. We have the button, but the problem right now is what Canvas does is by default it goes to something called a screen space overlay. You could see it over here. So what that does is that is gonna be like something which you would not be able to see in VR. It's going to be very huge. If you look at it, you see the canvas is, the button is so big, and if I double click on one of the scene assets, you would see how small it is basically. There you go. So the buttons are going to be like rather huge. So what we need to do is, the first thing you need to change in the canvas inspector, the settings, is to change it to world space. When you do world space, you can actually scale it down or make it big, and it'll be part of the 3D space and it will not be attached to any camera. So the moment I switch it to world space, let me just add the main camera also, event camera. All right, so now let me go back to this and scale it down. Now the way to scale it down is you could actually do this itself, it's fine. And I'm gonna make the position to 0,0. Let's double click that. Okay, still it's huge. I'm scaling it down. I want to probably put that menu on a wall. I think that'll look nice. Now that I've rotated it, I'm gonna make it a little smaller and probably put it up near the wall, not too close. One moment. Looks good. I'm gonna make the button be in the center now. So let me just move it across and probably make it a little bigger. Okay, so we need two buttons here, so I'm just gonna replicate and I'm gonna name this BTN bucket, right? Yeah, let's do BTN bucket, and the other one is going to be BTN wood. All right, so we have BTN bucket and BTN wood, and if I go inside BTN bucket and click on text, I'm gonna change it to hide bucket. And this one, I'm gonna say hide wood. All right, so we have two buttons on a canvas, and I've just positioned it close to the wall. So pretty much that's all we did. Let me just scale down this gizmo. It's quite, yeah, that's better. Let me add a text also in this so that it looks like a menu. I'm adding a text. I'm moving it up. Now you should remember to not scale the text to make it bigger. Always use font size, because that will give you a much sharper text compared to a scaling which you would probably do in general. If you scale it like how we did button, then the text is going to be like quite pixelated, something which you don't want to have. I think this is okay to begin with. So we have a menu right here, Now let's go ahead and add something which will make this canvas interactable with the controllers which we have. In order to make this canvas interactable with the controller, we need to add a script. So let's go ahead and click on canvas and then click on add component, and I'm gonna look for the tracked device graphic raycaster. Now in general, canvases will have graphic raycasters. Now adding this track device graphic raycaster will enable you to use your controller on the UI elements. Let's go ahead and check how this works. So I am in the scene, and yeah, there my controller is. I'm not using the other controller, so it's just lying on the floor. The laser beam is actually changing color. When I go to the button, it changes to white, which tells me that it is something I can interact with. And when I go to the wall or the floor, that is red, which indicates that there is not much action which you can do. So that's the only script which we need to add. So it is just the track device graphic raycaster. The moment we add that, I think we are pretty much good to go, like any other build which you could do. You will have all the UI elements at your disposal. Now let's go ahead and quickly add some action. The first thing which I'm going to do is I'm gonna assign this button, the hide button, an action on click. So let me just select the button, and if I scroll down, I have this on click event. I'm gonna click on this plus button, which gives me options to add whatever I want. So in this case, I'm going to add the bucket here. So the object which I'm going to add here is the bucket. Let me just go ahead and find that first. Okay, paint 5G bucket. Oh, that's 5 gallon. All right. So we have paint 5 gallon bucket. That's the object which I want to add. Let me just go to the button, and on click I've added. Let me just pull the 5 gallon bucket over there and choose the function game object set active. Set active is a boolean value. So if it is true, then the object would be seen. If it is not true, the object will not be seen. In this case, I'm going to keep it set active false. Now let's do the same thing for the wood also. So I'm going to choose the beat first. Let me just find what wood is this. It's a stud pile. Okay, we're going to use that. I want to hide this pile, or let's do this. Let's hide the frame, stud frame. This is interesting. We could lose this entire frame. So stud frame it is. I'm gonna go to BTN wood, and then scroll down, find the on click segment, click on the plus button. It's gonna add one element, and I'm gonna drag the stud frame to the object. And I'm gonna go to the function and select game object, set active, and by default it is false, which means you will not see the tick mark there, which is all we need. What this will do is the moment you press the button, this click event, on click event, will get triggered because you are clicking on it, literally like how we do it with the mouse, but here you would be using the controller. And the moment the click happens, this object, in this case the stud, the frame object's set active parameter will go into false, will turn into false. The moment it turns false, it will not be visible for the user. So let's go ahead and test this out. Okay, so I'm inside the game, and yeah, if I look to my left, I actually see the hide wood and hide bucket. So I'm going to try hiding the bucket. So I'm going to click on this button. There you go, my bucket just vanished. Now let's try hiding the frame. I hope you can see it on the screen. Gone. So the frame is gone. That's how you can actually add a UI interaction in a Quest project. In the next video, we're going to see how to interact with a 3D object, a cube to be specific, how to grab it and how to manipulate it. See you in the next video.